What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it's interesting now that, the Daily Beast wrote their article, just how many additional articles are coming out now. Things are going to be very, very rough over the next week or so, and this is a case where many of my viewers are even like, excuse me, bro, we're done with this. And then she goes and does something insane, like issuing complaints, strikes, or copyright privacy complaints against 24 YouTubers. All that's going to do is make more people talk about it, which at this point one must assume she wants. Except, the price for talking about it is extremely high. She's been losing an average of 330 Twitter followers a day, but the real number over the past week is like well into the 1,500 to 2,000. Anytime you refresh it, she's using 200, 300, 400 more. And the ones that are there are absolutely crushing, just like blasting her in the comments. I think this is getting much, much worse. That's not a good thing. By the way, if you're in the market for a new computer, I put together this landing page with my partner Meta PCs. It's got a good, better, best, and ultimate build. Like the ultimate wrapped one on the lower right here is actually the one I use. If you use promo code The Quartering, when you're ready for a new computer at Meta PCs, you'll save. They have a happy chat sales team that can help you custom build stuff, get laptops, lease to own, financing, all sorts of stuff like that. And of course, don't forget, this is the weekend to save Valentine's Day. Head on over to coffeebrandcoffee.com. I have a Valentine's Day gift box here. It'll get to you by Valentine's Day. It comes in a really nice, glossy box. It comes packed with this packing stuff, so it looks really nice. All fellas, you just got to stick a bow on it. Easy peasy. Ladies, same thing. So if you want to make sure you have that in time for Valentine's Day, I think we have about 90 left. So you're going to want to pick that up if you can today. So there's been a bunch of new articles that have come out, and it's kind of this waterfall effect now. Eventually Tim Pool might actually cover it, but you see sites like Sportskeeda wrote a massive attempt at a cover-up. Eliza Blue, her story scandal explained as the music video goes viral. Then you have obviously the crushing Daily Beast article, which the day that came out, she just happened to go private on Twitter because reasons. And you're even starting to get, this is from unheard.com. What's the truth about Eliza Blue? And does it even matter? Meet Eliza Blue, née Morthland, the first fallen #girlboss of 2023. The internet personality and anti-trafficking advocate burst onto the Twitter scene around the time of Elon Musk's takeover. She was obviously a big fan of the Bird app's new CEO, and he seemed to trust her. Blue's tweets about censorship, she's opposed, and bad material on Twitter, which she suggested was rampant on Twitter under a previous regime. On multiple occasions, she implied that she was working closely with Twitter's new trust and safety team to ban popular hashtags used for trading this kind of content. The extent of her role, though, has recently been called into question because her narrative as a survivor is completely falling apart. I mean, there's just more and more and more and more and more articles coming out. And even The Hill, we'll get to that in a second, even The Hill's starting to cover it. I wish that they were covering this because they cared about censorship. I'm not saying about The Hill, but in general, I think people see it as a way tangentially to dig Elon Musk or get after Elon Musk, which, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish people actually cared about, hey, this chick seems to have some kind of direct line to Twitter's trust and safety, and she's using that to silence people, to censor people, to lock people out of their accounts. And now she's trying to do the same thing on YouTube. I wish that's why they were doing it, but I guess I'll settle for, hey, at least they're covering it and not taking a bunch of super chats to not cover it. Blue publicly shared her story for the first time in a podcast in September of 2020, where she recounted a sheltered upbringing from Illinois, therefore a rebellious phrase, when she met a photographer who lured her to LA, blah, 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 blah. The hazy nature of the story and the existence of several different aliases raised questions about Blue's past. Last week, YouTuber Brittany Venti, shout out Brittany, apparently found a rap video featuring Blue and asked if she'd ever discussed the performance in the context of her story. She tweeted a photo still from the video, which had been publicly available on YouTube since 2016. Hey, shout out to the author of this article. For a survivor to perform in this kind of spicy video shortly after breaking away from the captors is confounding, but so is the path towards recovery, and perhaps she didn't want to be judged. But when Venti's account was suspended for sharing the image, fans called out the erstwhile free speech advocates' hypocrisy, as well as the apparent abuse of her connections to higher up at Twitter, who issued, hey, shout out, this article is really good, who issued bizarre justifications for the suspensions. Later that day, Blue announced that the video included private images that were taken without her consent, broadly implying that she had been coerced into that performing. Of course, we know that seems extremely unlikely because there's a mountain of evidence that she's like celebrating being in these videos, right? Few people ask any questions at all, of course, because that's another thing we've learned from this kind of trauma is that victims are often blamed, shamed, and denied their experience. We know how important it is to be believed, so we don't question people who come forward with these harrowing tales. During a chilling exchange on Timcast last year, Blue herself raises the possibility that her story was all fabrication and asked why it would even matter. She wasn't being mean to people. She wasn't asking for money from people. She managed to raise national awareness about trafficking, particularly in big tech. In a sense, she's right. Blue has won awards for her activism. Her brash personality and tireless promotion have certainly brought her cause to the fore. Does it matter if her work was driven by vanity or built on lies? Of course it does. And, you know, I think to imply, I don't think this article is making that implication, by the way, but like to imply she's not financially benefiting from this is also absurd because let's say no money changed hands. I don't know where this, people keep mentioning some sort of custom Tesla she has. I've never seen that, but let's say that's, you know, so I can't confirm that, but let's say there's, you know, who's flying her around, bringing her to Miami, bringing her to California, bringing her to Timcast. All of this is based on her being who she says she is. So she is certainly benefiting from that. She gained 170,000 Twitter followers in November and December. That's monetizable following that you could, I don't know, sell your delicious coffee to or sell your, you know, promote a sponsor Meta PCs to, right? So you are getting paid in clout and reach and connections. And maybe if it's not in hard greenbacks, right? You're still accepting payment, you know, and you're building an empire that you can then monetize later. So I think even The Hill, by the way, The Hill wrote, who is Eliza Blue and, you know, scrutinized by former allies. This was pretty weak sauce. I'm told it wasn't very, you know, a very good deep dive, but if The Hill's covering it, that's good. And then we have Unheard today. We had Daily Beast yesterday, Sportskeeda, which I think was, today? Now it's Friday, right? And you would think, boy, if you just don't do anything or say anything, it'll go away by Monday. And it might still. But if she keeps striking people, if she keeps, you know, this facade, instead of just coming out and saying, you know, I mean, it's like there's so many crazy lies. Like here's a picture that's floating around, right? She made a whole lie about she doesn't have Wi-Fi, and there's a Wi-Fi router right behind her. And also, you know, any cell phone you can turn into a wireless router too. So like, you know, this just like everything this woman has, everything that's come out of this woman's mouth has been suspect at best, and many of it being completely debunked. Lying about, oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. What is this? You know, I don't, it's getting so hilarious. Now you're going to start to see, I think, even more kind of big media outlets covering up on this, picking up on this, because it's Friday. Could be interesting now that these YouTube strikes, if there's a lawsuit that happens, because, you know, she did privacy complaints against a lot of lawyers. You know, for me to bring a suit, be very expensive. For a lawyer to do it, you're just really eating up their free time. So, you know, I know that she got uncivil law, I think it was. Sorry if I got that wrong. You know, there were, you know, several people that were, you know, gotten. Well, how many of these lawyers that, you know, did you go after that are just going to say, you know what, I got nothing going on this weekend, I'll just file a lawsuit that's going to cost a bunch of money for you to defend yourself. And oh, by the way, she should lose it because she's, you know, taking advantage of the YouTube system. I spent, you know, all morning dealing with the legal stuff of disputing all these spurious claims. That costs money, right? I have a call with a lawyer. That costs money. All money that somebody's responsible for. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see in court what her DMs look like between Ella G. Irwin, maybe even Elon Musk. This kind of stuff would be part of discovery. And sure, it would be interesting to see if there were any panic messages about banning users, banning accounts who were posting pictures, because it seemed like within minutes sometimes accounts were getting locked. There's no way that she went and manually submitted a complaint, then somebody at Twitter saw it, and then it got taken down in a matter of minutes. They didn't even look at my appeal for over a week. Okay, so I don't believe that. I believe that DMs were sent. I believe that there were direct lines of communication used, and I sure would be interested to see all that in court. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider checking out coffeebrandcoffee.com, and of course, leaving a like on it and subscribing down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.